John Duggan is going to join us next here on Cheltenham for tips for day 2. Here he is talking to Rachel Blackmore in the winners' enclosure after a historic performance from Honeysuckle. Have a look.
Incredible. She's a phenomenal mare. We're also lucky to be involved with her. Fantastic to have Kenny Alexander here today, and brilliant to have the crowd as well.
How are you feeling going into the race?
I was actually really looking forward to it. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure when you're riding an unbeaten favourite in the champion hurdle. But I was looking forward to it. I have a lot of confidence in her deep down, I suppose, because she. I just know what she's capable of, and it's brilliant.
John Duggan, good morning to you.
Ger, Owen and Kenny, how's it going?
Yeah, great. Honeysuckle performed, Rachel Blackmore performed, really. I mean, obviously the horse is great, but she presented the horse at the right time, and it was textbook, and it was typical. So, you know she knows what she's doing, to the point where it's like, this is amazing to watch.
Well, there's no talk of glass ceilings. It never even entered my mind, to be honest, lads. And you're right, because the horse was wide, and then she brought it inside, which is a little bit of a risky thing to do with horses in front of you, and then she just waited for the gap. And when she got the gap, she took it, and she had every confidence that the horse would produce for her around the bend, and then that turn of foot was unleashed, and then she just stormed up the hill. I was so impressed by the way she stormed up the hill, Honeysuckle. I thought it was a much stronger race, guys, than last year, and Rachel rode with supreme confidence. It's just fantastic for her to have her family there, to have a deafening roar. That is a cliche, but it really was a crackling sound when Honeysuckle powered up that hill, and a lot of pent-up feelings from 2 years, I think, unleashed in the ring yesterday at Cheltenham, and she got a great reception, and it was clearly the story of the day. Well done, Henry de Bromhead, as well. I was here 14 years ago when he had a favourite for the champion hurdle size in Europe, who pulled up with a back problem. So you have the bad days, but there's been a few great days now for Honeysuckle, 15 of them to be precise, because she's never been beaten.
Brilliant lines from Barry Glendenning in the back of the Guardian this morning. Braying drunks, a tidal wave of tweed and mustard corduroy, Ray Parlour sculling pints in the Guinness Village at 10:30 a.m. Slowly but surely, nature is healing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being down there now today and seeing where it would lead, but unfortunately, this is the opportunity cost when you're working. You've got the privilege to be able to see the races. You have to just have the opportunity cost of not being able to hang out with Ray Parlour. But he's a gooner, so it's probably a good thing.
I was just going to say, is it okay to be jealous of Ray Parlour and Alan Brazil on weeks like this?
Not sure. It's always good to have a little bit of the green-eyed monster when people are swigging pints, but I'll do my fair share when I come home.
Rachel Blackmore said she was looking forward to it and she enjoyed it. That's the type of thing where it's definitely somebody at the peak of their powers, reaching a point where you're actually able to lean into the occasion and not be overawed by the fact that this is going to be, one of the most important races as far as punters are concerned. Really short price, loads of money on this horse, and you just deliver.
Well, she's always been on Honeysuckle, and they've got that great relationship. And I suppose when you put in the effort, when Rachel's putting is very, very hard working, when you put the effort in at the yard, and last year there was a lot of heat on, obviously, as well. Maybe last year did help with no crowds, and that Honeysuckle was able to win the champion hurdle. And a lot of this is about repetition, Ger. And if Rachel Blackmore has won the Grand National, that would just give her a tremendous amount of confidence going into this season. And she's definitely there among the top riders in the weigh room now, unquestionably. And she's an asset for any racehorse.
The rest of the day, England are ahead of Ireland. England almost won as many races yesterday as they've done for the whole of last year. What happened to our pride and hubris?
Britannia ruled the world. So it'll be, I'd say, a bit of a false dawn. I think Constitution Hill was expected to do well, and he did brilliantly. 22 length win. It was pretty breathtaking stuff, to be honest. And he could actually go to Punchestown now. Yet Edwardstone in the Arkle Chase once again was the favourite. Marie's Rock was a bit of a surprise winner of the Mayor's Hurdle for Nicky Henderson, and then it was a Scottish winner, Cara Crambler, in the handicap chase. But I'm looking at today, we'll win the bumper, we'll probably win the cross country. Sir Gerhard and Journey With Me are in the top two for the opening race, the Ballymore Novices Hurdle, and then if Shishkin doesn't win, it'll be an Irish winner. So I think there'll still be more Irish winners than English winners, but it's not a bad thing that there are British winners. This is on ITV, this is on terrestrial TV. There's 12 times the population size. We want racing to be in the back pages and the front pages like it is today, and we don't want people to lose interest in it either, just because a country just says, you know what, we're not really into this anymore. We don't want to get racing to turn into Gaelic Games where it's just limited to Ireland.
Apparently Barry Glendenning just walked past you there. You can give him a shout out if you want. Come here, how did you get on? More importantly than all of the actual events on the track, how did you get on?
My tips were a washout. I had 2 second places, John Vaughan and Queensbrook an hour second, so I had 2 second places and nothing else. So it was a duck, as it were, in cricket terms, lads. So I'll have to just go again today, and I apologise to people on Twitter and everything, and I didn't get actually any abuse, which is interesting.
Unusual.
So people are feeling sympathetic, and maybe that's the track record of all the previous years. So we'll go again today.
We do remember the year that Willie Mullins had no winner for the first 2 days and still ended up champion trainer, right?
Yeah, well, last year I was behind and I had the last 2 winners. So it is very much a 4-day thing. But even like personally, I was up. So it can be swings and roundabouts. I backed 4 horses in one race yesterday. And the one I tipped was 9th. And the other 3 were 1st, 3rd and 4th. That's just Cheltenham. It was just a weird day.
Hold on a minute. So there's
Any horse in the race? 5? You're back 4?
There was 24.
Hold on. I've been following the John Duggan stencil and golf and racing pretty much at every event for the last 3 months. And you're telling me that you made profit yesterday and I lost all my money.
Well, Owen, I can't for Cheltenham Festival, when you have thousands and thousands of casual punters listen to what I'm saying, I can't be given the complicated aspects of the virtual insanity style 4 runners in one race. It would just turn people off. It'd be too complicated. And the horse I really, really fancied was 9th.
Right.
But like I suppose there is a difference between tipping and punting.
There's an inner circle, and you're not in it. She is. That's what I'm hearing.
I thought we were friends, Don Duggan.
Well, it's funny because the only camera I can see right now is Owen, and Owen is looking right at me, and I said I thought we were friends, and Ryan Brem is all forgotten about, and Luke List is forgotten about.
Yeah, no, sorry, we established very early on, none of us are friends with Owen. We will all be thrown under the bus first when the new revolution comes, and Owen is the dictator-in-chief.
There's obviously still a bitterness of 2019 here, you know.
Definitely.
Kerry and Dubs.
Barry Glendenning was literally looking over your shoulder, perhaps even when I was reading that out. Oh, there he is again. He's hanging around. Right, give us your tips for today.
Right, okay. What are we going with? Right, this is an each way day, folks. My nap of the day is Elixir de Nuts in the 450. This is the Grand Annual 2-mile chase at 16 to 1.
I was listening, sorry to interrupt. I was listening to Pony or Phony on the Ray Foley show, as delivered by the late great JP Gilburn, who obviously is not late, but and I thought that many of the double entendres he was using were actually completely made up, and now you've just tipped Elixir de Nuts.
Yeah. It's funny. I think we're all getting giddy, and that's a good thing. Maybe we'll get down to the descent after all, lads. So Elixir de Nuts, this horse won well at Kempton last time in a small field, but he jumps well. He won a Grade 1 novice hurdle, the Tallworth Hurdle at Sandown a few years ago. He's won over the course and distance. He's got 10 stone 13 on his back. They were thinking about putting him in a better race, possibly even the champion chase. And I think Elixir de Nuts, with John Joe O'Neill Jr. on board for Colin Tizard, has a good chance of making the frame. A lot of bookies playing 6 or 7 places in this race. So Elixir de Nuts is my nap of the day, each way at 16 to 1. A good jumper in that Grand Annual chase. I'm going to go for an each way bet to nothing with Chacun Persois in the champion chase. He's about 6 to 1, 7 to 1 in places. I think he's going to finish in the first 3, and if he does, you get your money back, maybe possibly with a small profit. Like, he's never delivered away from home, but there's excuses that he was not, I don't think, right at Sandown earlier in the season. In this race last year, I don't think they made enough use of him. It was a bit of a sprint, and they didn't really use his cruising speed and his jumping, and he was 3rd. At home, he's been fantastic. He's been sensational at home at Leopardstown and Punchestown over the last few years. I'm going to give him another chance. There might be the case that the hill is just not suited to him and he just doesn't like getting on the plane or on the boat. But I think Chacun Persois at that price, because there is a feeling in my mind that Shishkin and Energumen, who had that race at Ascot the last day, maybe it might have left a mark. And Chacun Persois is a fresher horse this year at a 6 to 1 each way. I think he's an each way bet to nothing in the champion chase.
Okay. I'm
going to go with Journey with Me in the first. Rachel Blackmore, Henry de Bromhead won this with the same ownership. Brian Atchison, Rob Kerr with Bob Ollinger last year. Journey with Me is about 6 to 1 shot. Won a point. I backed him at Leopardstown at Christmas, and he was very good staying on. Beat Manila Crooner and Kilcrut. And I think Journey with Me is a tough animal. Sir Gerhard obviously is the one they all have to beat, but I think Journey with Me is a decent alternative. Brave man's game. There's this feeling out there that he won't appreciate the hill and he'll get beaten by a stayer or a tougher horse in the 3 mile novice chase at 2:10. But I like Brave man's game. I think he's really improved. I think he's got a lot of class. Won at Kempton very well. Is a brilliant jumper. You got to jump around Cheltenham. Like Capodano has made mistakes. I can't really have him. Ahoy Senior is a galloper, but is he good enough? Like he sometimes can be a bit sketchy at his fences. I like Brave man's game in that race to win. If he doesn't win, we'll know obviously that the course doesn't suit. Then a couple of other each ways. In the 250, this is the Carl Cup. The Boss's Oscar is about 28 to 1, 33 to 1, 40 to 1, with Rob James riding for Gordon Elliott, taking £7 off the top weight. This horse has been running over fences, but he was actually second over hurdles in the 3 mile hurdle here last year when he was favourite. Now he's about 28, 33, 40 to 1. If he has any of his old ability over hurdles, he could be a good each way play for 6 or 7 places. And this is not related to my character at all, but Shady Operator in the cross-country chase is about a 10 to 1 shot. Enda Bulcher is the king of the banks. He's a brilliant trainer of these types of horses. And look, Tiger Roll, the rain is going to come here today. That might not suit Tiger Roll as he bids for a swan song to win this race for a 4th time. So Shady Operator each way at 10 to 1. And all of these tips, if you're missing them as I read them out, are on OTBSports.com right now as well.
All right, John, enjoy the day. Thanks very much for that.
All right, lads, take care.
You can read, as he said, on OTBSports.com. We'll tweet them out as well. That is John's card, and he's got amounts beside each of those as well for his charity bet, but thanks to Betway. The Cheltenham Festival was a traditional day out for the footballers.
I just can't get my head around what John just said there.
Which bit?
Well, the fact that he none of his tips came in for his followers on Twitter in their tens of thousands. Yeah, he came out quids in. How does that work?
I know. I'm asking the same
Well,
question.
you can't give everything. You can't recommend 4 horses in one race.
You give a tip, you don't give a tip. You can't half give a tip, can you? Oh,
I wholeheartedly agree
you got to
with
back
this.
up your own tip. You can't give everybody else a tip and then go and bet on another horse.
Well, he bet on that horse too.
That's all wrong. That's all. I don't think he can recover from that, John. I'm going to be honest with you.
We should say, but he is giving us the surest thing.
Can horses really struggle on the ferry coming over on the ferry? Is that a fact?
I don't know.
I have had that myself over the years.
So.
You can shake it even the day after.
A bit pukey.
Your guts are a bit, without getting sick. Your guts, you're still not.
You
Maybe that's the case. The same with the horses.